Right, good evening. Welcome to the webinar for electrical installation. My name is Nicholas Sanson. I'm the curriculum manager for this area. The electrical area is based at the Southgate campus, so you're very welcome to my presentation tonight, which I'll go through the courses in the area and give you some details about what to expect if you're looking to join courses with the electrical department at Barnet and Southgate. The full-time courses are the main area that I'm going to look at tonight. If you want to ask questions about part-time courses, please do, and I'll answer all those. We do run evening courses, Saturday courses, and part-time courses as well as the full-time. On the full-time courses, first of all, we have a level 1, level 2, and a level 3 course. It's important to note that for youngsters joining from school, all of the students start on the level 1 program. So we expect a minimum of 4 grade 3s at GCSE, and we take them onto the level 1 because we need to build practical skills as well as theory skills over the level 1 course that then lead on to the other levels. All of the daytime programs are what we call a study program. So they don't just include the main program of study, they also include English and maths, enrichment, work experience, and they include things like employability skills, enterprise skills, and digital skills. So when you come onto a program, you have to expect to study other areas apart from electrical that make it up to a full program of study. And just to emphasize that, so the main qualification would be one of the different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. Then everybody will have a tutorial. You will have a maths and English session, and you'll have work experience. And it's worth saying for all of our courses, the maths and the English are absolutely essential. The students do need to have those skills in maths and English if they're going to study electrical and progress through the different levels. The key things that you'll need to remember is that you're going into employment in an industry where you have to be very accurate about what you're doing. There's a science element to it, there's a maths element to it. You have to calculate cable sizes, fuse sizes. You have to give people written instructions, and you have to fill out reports on the condition of electrical systems. And all of these require you to have those English and maths skills, and that's why they are so important for all of the students. All of our courses have a personal tutor, so that you'd expect as a learner coming onto the course, you'd have somebody whose focus is entirely on you and your achievement. They'll be the ones that you'll be your first point of contact as a student, and they'll make sure that you get your timely support, and you'll refer to any other agencies in the college that you need to. So for example, where we've been at the moment, where we've been on the lockdown and we've been teaching remotely, then obviously the personal tutor is the one who can deal with any issues that come up and supply things like extra computers if necessary, or home access for Wi-Fi and things like that. It's the role of the personal tutor to support you through your study. They will also monitor the attendance and the progress of the student, and obviously that's important because you are expected to attend all of the classes if you're going to succeed on the programme. And they will also arrange one-to-one support if it's needed, particularly that can be arranged. Every student will have a one-to-one meeting with their personal tutor where they can talk about any support needs that they might have. It's worth saying that obviously, we have expectations from you as students. Attendance is obviously a big area for us. A lot of what we do on the courses is practical, and a lot of the assessment is direct assessment in the college. So attendance of 100% is absolutely imperative for students coming in. So we need to make that absolutely clear from the beginning. We also ask the students to bring in their own work boots and make sure that they're prepared every session. And it may seem obvious, but we have to stress that and make sure that's absolutely clear. And there will be submission deadlines and assessments. So we will be obviously following a scheme of work for the whole year. There'll be deadlines and dates when we need to get the work done if we're going to complete it in the time that we've got. And so we do expect the students to meet those submission deadlines and assessment deadlines. We don't allow phones in the classroom. Sometimes phones are used if we have a sign-in for a quiz or something like that, but generally phones would be switched off and we wouldn't allow them in the classroom. And we don't allow food and drink in the classrooms or the workshops. That's really a health and safety issue because we don't want any spills and things to get in the way, get on the equipment, particularly if we're dealing with electrics. We can't have food and drink around. We have a good level of online support. So obviously this has been tested recently because of the lockdown and the fact that we've been teaching remotely for the whole time. So we have been teaching full complete timetable online throughout the lockdown. So each learner would be getting their same lessons they would do if they were in college. Only difference would be obviously that the practical sessions have to be delivered just with demonstrations online rather than being able to get hands-on. But we have iLearn learning materials. We have very good support materials from City and Guilds, our awarding body, and we do deliver all of our classes through Teams. We've also provided laptops and Wi-Fi for students who need that extra support so that they can engage and join the online lessons. So good level of online support, and that's available all the time. So even though you're coming into classes and you're doing a course physically in the college, you've still got access to all these materials for revision and practice. The courses are all done through the awarding body City and Guilds. So we work from their instruction, so they tell us what they need us to do. And as you can see at level 1, they'd be fairly basic. They build up the basic knowledge and the basic practical skills. So all the students would come in at level 1 and they'd study for 1 year on the level 1 program. And then we'd move on to level 2, and again, they build up the skills. In level 2, they have a practical assessment, which I'll say a little bit more about. And by the end of level 2, they would be able to do some work in the industry, but they really need to go on to level 3, where they become what we call competent to work in the industry. So the assessments and the work they do at level 3 mean that they will be able to go out and work in the industry at the end of that course. So for some students, they'd come in on the level 1 and they'd be at the college for 3 years before they are qualified enough to go out and work almost in their own right with an electrician. Assessment, there's a range of assessment that will be going alongside your course. We do have assignments, which would be written assignments where you'd sit in the college in an exam type situation and fill out an assignment. Often they're multiple choice or short answer assignments. We do have exams that are online. So City and Guilds set exams for some of the different subject areas. So health and safety, for example, you'd actually take an online exam for. And also at level 2, there's a science-based exam. And at level 3, there's exams that cover the whole course as well, which again are online. And then we have workshops, practical workshops, and depending on the level again, you actually are assessed in a practical workshop. So for level 2, for example, you would have a 2-day assessment. So we'd set you up, you'd be in a workshop bay, you'd be working through a practical exercise you've been given, and then obviously you'd down tools, go home for the evening, come back the next day, pick up where you left off and carry on with your assessment. So practical assessments are just like exams. They're done under proper exam conditions, and you demonstrate your ability in order to pass the course. Once you've finished on the different levels, you progress through them. So level 1 to level 2, and level 2 progress on to level 3. And as I said earlier, then from level 2, you're not a fully qualified electrician. You've still got to do a level 3 course, or perhaps you might go on and do an apprenticeship if you've got an employer that you could work for. So you'd expect from level 2 to perhaps go on to an apprenticeship, or you go on to the level 3 at college again. From level 3, you're likely to go out into the industry. So you should be able to work alongside or with an electrician, and you will be competent to do most of the electrician trades that you want to do. There are professional courses that that you would then still want to be taking, because anyone who works in the electrical industry has to be maintain their level of ability and skill and knowledge. So there will be other professional courses that you would then take after you've left after the level 3, but you will be able to work as an electrician after the level 3 course. There's a couple of pictures there of some of the testing and things that go on, so you can see the sorts of things that students are doing. And they are involved obviously in using all of this equipment within the college. So we have 6 different workshops within the college, all specialising in different areas. And as I said at the beginning, all of these are based at our Southgate campus. So if you've not been there, obviously that's something that you would be able to do as part of the application process. My details are obviously on this webinar, and you're able to contact me if you need any more questions. And I know some of you have been leaving questions now. I will just point out that we're taking applications from students already for September start, and the process at the moment is that any students that apply, we're telephoning to discuss their application and talk about particularly grades and what they may need to do, or whether they're going to be given a conditional offer ready to start the course in September. At the moment, we don't know whether the September enrolment will be online or face-to-face, but obviously we'll have an enrolment process in September, and then that's when the courses usually start the 2nd week of September. So that finishes my part of the general presentation. What I will do now is I'll go over to the Q&A section, and I'll see what questions have been asked that need to be answered. So if I have a look through, we've got several ones there. Callum has asked whether the electrical courses tie into the apprenticeships as well. Yes, they do. If you're doing a level 2 apprenticeship, then the same qualification that we do at college is the one that you need to do for the apprenticeship. So if you're doing a level 2 in college and you pass that 2365 level 2, then that qualification you take with you into your apprenticeship, and it means you've got less that you've got to do on the apprenticeship to finish the apprenticeship and get that done. So yes, they do tie together. Zuhal has asked if adult learners with degree qualifications can enter directly at level 3. Yes, what happens is that adult learners who've got some experience can start at level 2 or level 3, depending on what's appropriate. So that's something we'd have to discuss, and it would depend on what you've done before. Usually for level 3, you would have to have a level 2 first. So that's something we'd have to discuss with you and see what's available. Emre has asked that when you finish your level 3, do you go out for a job? Yes, that's correct. You are then permitted to go out and work in the industry. Obviously, you need to experience, so you may want to work alongside an electrician, but you are able to go out and work in the industry. And even with level 2, students would go out to and work alongside electricians and get work experience and be valuable members of that team. So even at level 2, they can do that, but they can't work on their own with only a level 2. Barry's asking about 18th edition. So if you're an electrician and you want to do the 18th edition, which is one of these professional qualifications that updates your skills and knowledge, then we run those regularly at the college. It's usually a 2-week course. So you'll need to have a look out on the website for when we do the next one, and then you'll be able to sign up for that, and it's no problem at all. I'll just have a look. Sean has asked if we can have a phone appointment to discuss the course. So Sean, if you apply, if you put in your application, then the first thing we do will be to contact you, appropriate person to phone you and discuss your application. So put the application in. Do you want level 1, level 2? Do you want daytime or evening? And then we'll pick that up, and somebody will phone and speak to you about what the most appropriate course is for you. Okay. Sean is asking, oh no, Sean, I've answered Sean, sorry, my mistake. How long does part-time course take? It depends on which course you're doing for the part-time courses. So we have a part-time all-year course, so level 2 that you take from September right round to July, and we have a part-time fast track that runs from September to February, and then a second one that runs from March through to July. So it depends which one you're doing and what level you are. So if you have a look at the website at what's available, then you can see from there. Let's have a look. Knowledge of science. So Cornelia is asking about what knowledge of science would be needed. Specific areas of science. So as part of the course, the maths and science is quite a big part of it. So you'll need to be able to use formulae. You'll need to be able to make calculations. You need to understand about the resistance in materials, and you'll need to have some understanding of how the flow of electricity might be, and how you would control that, how transformers work. So there's a number of different areas of science that you'll need to be able to understand. Emre's asked again about maths and English. We only need to pass maths and English to get in. Yes, I mean, that's at the moment, that's the standard for GCSEs, grade 3 or above, and you'd come in at level 1. If you're an adult coming into level 2, then we discuss with you what experience you might have that makes it so that you can come straight in at level 2. And if you want to do a fast track or an evening course, then we may expect you to already have a qualification or have some experience in the electrical industry. And usually for level 3, usually you would only come to level 3 if you've already passed the level 2. You wouldn't just come straight in at level 3 because you wouldn't have the basic knowledge. Sean's asking about installing ventilation fans. Yeah, anything you need to do, you'd have to be level 3, Sean, as a minimum. So any work you'd want to do like that, you'd have to have passed that level 3. And usually most employers would also ask that you take the 2391 inspection testing course as well. So you can talk to us longer about that, but that's normally what the situation is. Mohammed is asking about the grades. So GCSE grade 3 or above for the full-time courses, starting at level 1, and then as I said before, you would need to have a level 2 course if you're going to progress to level 3. Full-time level 2 course. How many days and hours can you do work experience alongside the course? Okay, so if you're doing a full-time level 2 course, the full-time course is 3 days a week. So most of the students would then spend 2 days a week doing work experience, and that's something that they usually find themselves, but we do have a work experience department that can help with that as well. So success rate of previous students. Yeah, actually the success rates are very good on these programs. So all of our courses last year had a 90% plus success rate. So you'd expect 9 out of 10 to achieve and pass the course from the start, and that's pretty much what we've been getting every year so far. So we would expect that to continue, and obviously that's why we're very careful about keeping to the entry requirements and having a strong tutorial, so that we encourage students to and support them to achieve. So 90% success rate is the normal for that. Lewis has asked about when he would expect to hear when I expect a phone call. Well, we've been making phone calls through today, so the phone calls have started. Have started in the last 2 weeks, so you would expect to hear in the next week, definitely, so that you know exactly where you are. Okay. So how long is the level 1 course? The level 1 course is 1 year, and that's from September through to July. Okay, so you're in college for 1 year for the level 1 course. Would you accept access qualifications for level 1 electrical courses? Yes, we would. Obviously, you would apply, and we'd talk to you about what qualifications you've got and whether your level of English and maths is going to be good enough. But we try to be flexible, so we do accept access qualifications. We also have a separate ESOL group at level 1. So where we have some students who maybe haven't managed to get as far as they'd like with their English, they can come in and study electrical and study the English alongside it. So that's something that we are flexible with. So it's worth applying and talking to the tutors about it. Do the school teachers also do work on EV cars? We have all the equipment for installing the EV car charging points, and so we discuss it with the students. But we're not running a qualification separately on the EV cars at the moment. So if you're coming on a full-time course, we will cover that as part of the course, but we're not running a specific course for EV cars at the moment. I'm typing as I'm talking, so. Can you perform electrical installations after completing level 3? Yes, you can, but obviously you still need to make sure you're registered with the different bodies, and most sites will ask you to, building sites will ask you to be registered and have an ECS card, electrical contractors card. So that's something that you'd need to look at, and we'd advise you on if you wanted to do that. Osmond's asked what site we're in. So we run these all from the Southgate campus, and is the main campus that we would run all the full-time courses. But we do run some of the part-time courses. Will be offered or have been offered in the past, and we expect to again at the Colindale site. And you have to watch out on the website. Have a look on the web page to see when they're available. Send that through so everybody's got that. Is there a Saturday evening course? No, we haven't. We don't run a Saturday evening course. If you're doing what we call the fast track, then you have to study in the evenings. You have to study in the evenings if you're doing the fast track, and you have to do 2 days a week and a Saturday in order to pass it in the short time. So if you're doing that course, you'd work in a Saturday daytime, but we don't have a Saturday evening. So no evenings on Saturdays. Do they take interviews for applicants' capability when? Yeah. So if you're applying for the course, once you've applied, then we will at the moment, the situation we're in with the lockdown, we'll have a phone interview. Okay, so we will telephone and speak about what do you require, what are your current qualifications, and what are you able to do, and then we'll be able to advise you whether we can take you onto the programs or not. So that's something we'll do once you've applied. Mohammed's asked if we can go direct with good enough grades. So the school leavers, shall we say, 16 to 18 will go to level 1. So they're full-time school leavers, 16 to 18 will go to level 1. We'll consider adults for direct level 2 if they have some relevant experience. Okay, and that's something that we'll discuss when you come for your interview, or we phone you for your interview. Okay. Do we learn photovoltaics? I think I mentioned that. So it is covered in the course. It's covered in courses because obviously it's part of electrical, but it's not a separate qualification. So we don't run a separate qualification in photovoltaics at the moment. If I finish that. Level 2 full-time, how many places are available? We would expect to have we've planned, so we say for 6 groups for September. So that means that would be about 120 students. Obviously, if we get more than that applying, we can open extra groups, but we'd expect to do that. So we've got quite a bit of capacity, and we've certainly got enough workshops to take more students if they apply and are interested in it. Does the age matter on the electrical courses? So on the full-time courses, okay, we don't usually take adults. So I would say that means probably adults, say over 20s, really. Something we can discuss, but we don't normally. So we're normally looking for somebody who comes in that situation to either do the evening course or to go directly to level 2 if they've got some experience. Does the college have any connection to employment after completing level 3, please? Yes, we do have we have a work experience section that arranges not only work experience in terms of going out and actually working, but also work visits and careers. Even at the moment in lockdown, we've been running virtual tours with big companies that are looking for employers, so that we're able to keep that connection going even in the lockdown. And we can advise you about where we can go. But generally, what we tend to find is that if you're coming in and you're in a full-time course and you're coming into college, you tend to pick up pretty quickly what work there is available. And there isn't a shortage of work. A lot of our students are in demand in terms of going out and working whilst they're at college. So we can certainly support with that and help you to find an employer. I thought level 2 you can apply school leavers or GCSEs. Please clarify. So school leavers, if I haven't clarified, would be level 1, and that's because of the practical skills that you have to develop. And sometimes we've had somebody come in who's done a course before at level 1 and wants to come in at level 2, and that's possible, but that would be looked at on an individual basis. Osmar's asking about how many students in class and course, how's it spelled? In terms of in class, we have, I think our average would be probably 18 students to a group, something like that. How's it split classroom workshop? It's about 50-50. So I'd say 50-50 classroom workshop. And obviously that classroom includes English and maths and other areas. So it's about half practical, half classroom work.